It's hard to take sides in this particular situation, but if I had to side with anybody, it would have to be Jameer Nelson for this reason and this reason only. Jameer Nelson is simply talking about watch what comes out of your mouth. Now, we have to take into account the fact that we're talking about a point guard out of St. Joe's in Philadelphia, where I covered them, playing for the great coach Phil Martelli, who's about class, being represented to this very day by Steve Mountain of Cornerstone Management, who I've known for many years, who personifies class. They're all about doing things the right way and making sure that you don't offend people and you just go about the business of doing your job to the best of your ability. And if anybody has epitomized that throughout their professional career, it is Jameer Nelson. There is no question about that. And Jameer Nelson has certainly never uttered a negative word about Dwight Howard in his career. What I will say about Dwight Howard, however, is that once again, Skip, we're talking to the sensitive side, because insider information here, when Dwight Howard got his back hurt, according to what his people were telling folks, when he got hurt and had to be hospitalized and ultimately needed to come to California to get his surgery, they literally gave him a ticket to AirTran. Didn't give him a private jet, didn't give him a charter jet, didn't give him any of that. It was literally a trip on AirTran, okay? Not only that, he felt like when he was in the hospital, nobody made any kind of effort to come visit him, to talk to him or anything like that. And he felt that by electing to opt in, instead of exercising his freedoms that were forthcoming and engaging in free agency that coming July, instead of choosing to do so by opting in and electing to stay with the Orlando Magic, he felt that he showed a level of loyalty to the organization and to his teammates that he didn't believe was reciprocated once he was injured and out for the season. So I don't think it was a matter of maliciousness, anything he said remotely negative about his teammates. He's speaking more from hurt and pain because he didn't feel they were there for him the way he wanted them to be. But the problem with that is he never mentioned names. He was very vague and very generic in speaking about those guys inside that locker room, and by alluding to pain because he felt like the brotherhood per se wasn't honored, he can't then turn around and say, well, he's never said anything negative about those guys, because obviously Jameer Nelson has a right for it to be interpreted that way.
So do you agree with Dwight saying that my words got twisted into a negative thing? Or do you think his words were just his words?
I think his words were his words.
Because it came across to me, Stephen A., that Dwight wanted to sell the fact that he thought he was the center of that Orlando universe, that he did help make the others better. Yet, if we can go back, that Orlando run to the finals that year through LeBron's Cavaliers, boy, they made a lot of three-point shots, and I give Dwight a lot of credit because the ball would go inside and then outside, so he was the catalyst for the three-point shooting, but boy, did they make them. You know, Richard did and Turkoglu did, and we can go on down the line to Jameer.
And Pietrus.
Whoa,
even
did
Pietrus,
they
yes.
bombed some clutch threes. But
and Redick.
They shot the lights out until they got to the Lakers. Thank you very much, Karen Champion.
Yes, you're welcome.
So in the end, it just didn't sit well. It didn't come across well, and I'm completely on Jameer's side. So now let's look at one other issue here. We also have Dwight now saying that he trades texts with Phil Jackson. Should he take ownership of that? Will he say tomorrow, oh, you twisted that into a negative thing? Or will he stand behind, should he stand behind that as far as D'Antoni is concerned right now?
He shouldn't say a word about that because D'Antoni is still there. They still have a season where they're pushing for the postseason, and he should not allow anything to be a distraction. If he's texting Phil, that's his business, but he doesn't need to comment any further than that. Phil's an 11-time champion. Any player that's listening to Phil Jackson would be justified in doing so, but obviously that's a very dicey situation in L.A. He shouldn't touch it until the offseason.
So you have a problem with Dwight saying that publicly yesterday?
I have a problem with him elaborating on it even further. He doesn't need to say anything else because they're shooting for the playoffs. We all know it's a tenuous situation. If Jim Buss remains in power, D'Antoni will remain as the coach. If Jim Buss has his power obviously usurped, particularly in favor of Jeannie Buss, then D'Antoni will be gone. They will find a way to pay him and continue to pay Mike Brown and bring Phil Jackson back.
Yep.
It is that simple.
The best thing I can say about Dwight Howard right now is that last night he put his play where his mouth was.
Sure.
He came to play in the second half, Stephen A., and he and Kobe actually started to click a little bit together. So I think that's the best sign we've seen all year from Dwight, Kobe, and Dwight's future with the Lakers.
Well, let's just keep in mind and put things in this perspective from this standpoint, Skip. Bottom line is this. Dwight Howard has been sporadic throughout the season, but still, he's given you more than Andrew Bynum has given anybody. And so because of it, it's a plus side and an upside no matter which way you slice.
Wait, so Skip, are you saying, in other words, just play, stop talking to the media?
Just play.